A Rebel's Desire. Highland Heartbeats Book 2. By Aileen Adams. Chapter 1. Hair flying unencumbered behind her, Heather MacDonald raced through the trees, exhilarated by such an incredible sensation of freedom. Never in her life, before the incident at least, would she ever have imagined herself behaving in such a manner. No, not her. Not shy, demure, and ever so proper Heather. A giggle erupted from her throat as she barely dodged a young sapling, her shoulder brushing against its leaves as she sped past. The meadow was close, just beyond that small rise up ahead. In another few seconds, she would reach the top, and as always she would pause in her tracks, taking in the sight of that meadow strewn with blue, yellow, and orange wildflowers. She couldn't name the flowers, but she was sure that her sister could. Sarah the healer, recently wed to Philip Duncan of the Highland Duncan clan. That was something Heather would never have imagined, either. It had happened not quite a year ago. Her sister had been kidnapped by the very same man she would end up falling in love with and marrying. Heather hadn't known any of that at first. She hadn't known that Sarah had been kidnapped. Then all she knew was that her sister had disappeared. She didn't know if Sarah had died from a fall, gotten attacked by a boar, or if she had been injured and unable to get back home, lying out there all alone for days before she succumbed to her injuries or the elements. Those torturous days had been the longest and saddest that Heather had ever experienced. Sarah had walked out the door that morning with her basket to collect her herbs, roots and flowers, like she did almost every other day. But that day, she had not returned. Within just a few hours passing, Heather had known something was wrong. Dreadfully wrong. Fear and terror had coursed through her. She had gone looking for her sister, older by 2 years, but couldn't find her anywhere. She did find her basket on top of the cliffside overlooking the ocean. The same location where their mother had died when they were young children. Not wanting to but feeling compelled, Heather had slowly inched toward the edge and looked over just in case. She had gone limp with relief when she didn't see any sign of Sarah down there at the bottom, broken and crumpled as their mother had been all those years ago. She hadn't known what to do nor whom to turn to. Certainly not their stepfather Patrick. A drunkard, who had allowed a formerly lucrative smithy to languish while he spent his time drinking and carousing in nearby Kirkcaldy, sprawled along the southern Scottish coastline. The days that followed Sarah's disappearance had been the most horrible Heather had ever experienced, save the death of her mother. She had been very young then, but had learned to rely on Sarah.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?